My name is Joseph. I am 15, and I am autistic and have ADHD. Two things. Boring. A very inefficient means of teaching. Not going out of their way to make me engaged in any given subject. And that's not to say that it's my only experience of school in general. I've had both positive and negative, really dependent on the teacher, but I feel like the whole system is centered around the premise of fearing not doing well as opposed to encouraging learning and wanting to know more. It's things that odd assortments of skills that they want you to learn that might not even end up being practical, as opposed to anything interesting or things that could actually help you later on. And they make it out like if you don't, then it's a massive problem. But I feel in a lot of instances it really isn't. They don't do it as well as they could.
So you would say it doesn't feel very relevant to you?
No. No as in yes, I would say that. Yes.
And you haven't attended in-person school in 3 years now, correct?
Correct. I feel like I should more, but it's just difficult, especially the whole timing of when it happens. Getting myself organized to do it is the problem mainly.
Is there anything that you enjoyed when you were in school?
There were certain subjects that I enjoyed. I enjoyed learning new things at a certain point. I liked my business and admin class. It's not that the premise in and of itself it's bad, it's that it's not executed well. And I feel learning the same information through a different means would have been more effective at engaging me.
Is there anything else that you felt was particularly difficult about the school environment?
The people, classmates, just any other students, some teachers. A whole, not to say that it can't be effective for some or even most, but the whole collective learning environment, it being so many people together and one person teaching you things, I feel like it doesn't work for me. I feel like I can actually quite effectively learn, when I'm invested in something and interested, I can quite effectively learn and absorb information just by doing my own research or looking things up. But when I have somebody telling it to me, and it's behind the whole idea that if I don't, I won't do well, then it becomes unnecessary pressure as opposed to just learning. Kind of a general baseline rule for a lot of things. People are not it's the, I don't mean to sound negative, but in my experience, it's been the standard as opposed to the exception, where I've had very negative experiences with other people in my class just being annoying or downright harmful or irritating on purpose, trying to get a reaction out of anybody and everybody. I can remember my French class in S1 back when I was actually in school. It was just so insufferable. Nobody there was actually, I felt bad for my teacher because he was really nice. Nobody there was engaging with him at all, and they were just doing their own thing and throwing crap at each other in the back of the class, and it felt like such a waste of time and energy for me, because what's the point of having a whole thing of teaching people subjects when you're not teaching them effectively, you're not getting them interested, and worst of all, everyone just doesn't care because it's not a subject that they wanted to learn. They're just doing their own thing. And it makes it especially hard when it's difficult to attain focus, or you can get distracted by even the smallest of things. I'd find myself in class just tapping my pencil on my desk over and over, trying to regain myself and getting back into what I was doing. My art teacher, one time I went up in the hallway and I said hi, and they told me that it was being disruptive and rude when I said that on the way to the class. It hadn't even started. I just said hello. But, it's just things like that. It's a lot of teachers' constant need to have absolute control over everybody, and a lot of teachers not a lot of teachers, a lot of students just not considering anybody else at all, that made it a nightmare. For the past, year or two, I've been doing online school as opposed to in person, and I actually find it quite difficult to engage with online learning as opposed to being in a classroom, because it being in my room, it being in that space, just keeps me in the same headspace that I would be normally. I'm not in the right mindset to be doing school stuff. I'm in the place where I do, all of my other things. And so, being there and doing my schoolwork, I can only really end up focusing for, the length of the meet, and then I'll just end up going down some other rabbit hole. And I feel like separating those environments, like home and school, made it a lot easier for me to pay attention and learn. But then at the same time, the school is not handled in a way that makes it easy for me to pay attention and learn. So it's very conflicting. And I wish I could go. It's tricky. I think they could be more lenient about their stupid policies that for some reason they have to enforce. And I think they could try more to not put so much pressure and make their topic interesting. There are so many little things that just don't make sense that they lose their minds over. I know people who aren't allowed to wear earmuffs or headphones in class because I don't know, they're just not allowed to. They think they'll be listening to death metal instead of paying attention to the teacher or something, when really it's because they can't cope with all the noise and they need to tune it out. And even if it's cold or something, you're not allowed to put your hood up or wear a hat. You're not able to do so many things. It's like they're trying more so to train obedience than bring out any imaginative thought at all. It's saddening. It did make me feel the need to almost recharge a little bit, just from the moving around and the having to constantly keep up with everything going on. I could lose focus for a second, and then the topic would have moved on by 5 points. And so when I get home, and this applies not just to school, just to going out anywhere really, I very frequently need to just go sit down by myself for a bit and bring myself back. And it helps afterwards. I feel better, but there is a need to readjust once I've been out to recharge. Because when I get up every day, I need to do things in a certain order and way before I can get myself on, which is why I hate that school is so dang early. But I need to be up I need to walk around. I need to have had my breakfast. I need to have done everything else. Sometimes I just need to, like, go out. Like, if I get up particularly early, I'll go out for a walk or something if nobody else is up to bring myself back into it. But just throwing myself right onto my computer and doing class makes it hard for me to function doing anything else pretty much the rest of the day. And I'll end up just sitting there. And
I guess maybe just understand your perspective on it.
yeah, and understand the way I operate in general. I also need them to understand that the environment can be frustrating in both instances, so I need them to be understanding of my needs for an environment, about noise when I'm actually at, like, in-person school, and needing to keep myself warm. If it's cold, it's just, like, so strange. I mean, that you can get in trouble for doing something so minute as keeping your head warm, or getting rid of the excess noise that you need when you need that silence in order to focus and learn. It's ridiculous, truly. Extreme brightness is a problem for me too. Not like everyday light. I hate when the sun is angled, like, right through the window and I'm just being blinded. I can't do anything. It's like I'm a vampire. I can't have anything else stimulating my senses when all that needs to be stimulating my senses is the material. I need to read it. I need to look at it. I need to do the work. I still do my online classes, but sometimes I'll go into, like, an actual school when I'll go in and I'll do an online class just inside normal school in, like, a room by myself, and that helps. I've been doing stuff way easier with that. The only problem there is they don't have, like, a room for me, so people keep knocking and opening the door, like, can we use this room? And I have to keep being like, no. They said this one's for me right now. And if I could just have that whenever I had to do school, it would be incredible. I could have, like, if I had my room like the Incredibles car, I just press a button and everything goes, I have a whole different environment. Environment is very important. For me specifically, I need that environment that is completely separate from where I do everything else in order to get in the right headspace for schoolwork, or I can't do schoolwork. It just doesn't work. I don't feel as much pressure to do well. I feel pressure whenever I attend class because they bring it up a lot. They don't understand, like, they're going on about the prelims and N4s and everything. And I feel the pressure is mainly because I feel left behind because I've not really been doing in-person school for 3 years. So I don't know any of what they're talking about in regards to the prelims. I've not heard about them, and, like, N4, I don't know what it is. And so I'm constantly thinking, what if I need to do this in order to do anything? If I need to get, like, job somewhere later in life. It's looking forward and feeling like it's going to affect everything that happens in the next however many years of my life are left, like, for however long it goes on. Forever. You don't need it. Go learn stuff yourself. Do your own research. Look up topics that you might find interesting. If you need a skill for something, there's resources you can go to learn it yourself. And some jobs, they will ask for requirements, like did you do your N4, whatever. As far as I know, you can go and do those anytime. You don't need to do that in secondary school. If you want those qualifications, the option to do them will always be there. And so it's not urgent. You don't have to be thinking about it. It's not going to... I should heed my own advice, really. You don't have to be thinking about it all the time. And if you want to learn things, there are far better, more accessible ways of doing that than just the ones they provide you with in school.